So, welcome to the Adventure Judaism video about video conferencing. This is the main way that I like to use to communicate online with students. Usually it's one-on-one, but we can manage as many as three people in the meeting, as many as 3 participants. Now, the first time you get your email to join a meeting with me, Cisco WebEx, the company, will ask to install software on your computer. Don't worry about that. The software is designed to allow our 2 computers, yours and mine, to interface well and to allow us to share files during the meeting. So it's perfectly safe to download. What you see here, what you're going to see is after the download. So I've already installed the software on my computer here. I'm using an iMac, by the way, so it works just as well with PC and Mac. And when it's time for our meeting, you'll get an email just like this: join the WebEx meeting. So if we open that up and we join the meeting, then we just have to type in a display name so that I can see who's coming and I know who you are. You then type in the name of the email, the address of the email that I used in order to invite you. So that way, the software knows that the right person is joining the right meeting. And here we go, and voila! Here we are, meeting online. Now, the reason you're seeing a lag between me and the dialogue is because I'm actually sitting here at my desk talking into my little microphone here. So it's going to look very weird because the audio is going into my microphone, but you at home are seeing it on the screen in the sort of second or two that it takes to travel the great distance of the internet. So don't worry about that. It's not a problem. When we actually do connect in person, there's no lag time in terms of the dialogue. So what are we able to do online? Apart from being able to see ourselves, we have the ability to share files. So I'm going to open up a file right now. It's a sound and letter chart. And, oh, there it is, our sound and letter chart. So let's pretend we needed to do a Hebrew review, or we're learning basic Hebrew online or something along that line. So I will upload a PDF similar to this one, if we're doing basic Hebrew. And we can use this to practice our letters and our sounds, things like that. Of course, it's a bit of a problem if you only get to see it online, but you don't have something physical in hand. So what I do is whenever we're using material that I develop personally, I send you a copy. So here you have a copy of the flashcards. So you'll get this in the mail. And as you can see, we have a tav over here, the sound over here. So we go through a combination of the physical flashcards with the charts and the sounds that we see online, and we use both of them to learn together. Now let's say, for example, we're learning about Bar and Bat Mitzvah, right? Which of course is a big one for a lot of people, right? Same thing. I have the ability to upload a file based on your parasha. So let's say, for example, you're reading Shabbat morning, Parashat Bereshit, the very first portion in the whole Torah. So I've just set my computer to upload. So it's uploading right now. Bereshit is just coming up. It's about halfway through. And, you see right here on your screen, we have the book of Bereshit popping up. And you'll notice that it's the same book as you see here as the physical book. So you will receive a physical book of whatever it is we're doing online. This is very important because in between our meetings, you aren't necessarily going to sit in front of your computer screen every time you have to do something. So having a physical book and a PDF of the very same book allows us to connect online and to continue your work offline when the meeting is done. Now, because I'm the one in charge of the meeting, I'm in charge of what we get to see. So let's say we're studying part of the English in Bereshit. I'll go to a page number and you see it pops up right there on your screen and we can talk about it together one-on-one. If we're practicing a blessing, I'm just going to go to a page. There we go. We have a blessing. So let's say we're singing that together. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. So we have the ability to sing back and forth during the meeting. And if you're wondering how do we point to things, well, all I do here is I use my little pointer. So let's say we're practicing here. There's the little yellow pointer that you see there on the screen. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. And then the congregation says, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam vaed. So there we have pointers. So that's my way of showing different parts of the text that I want you to focus on. And I can point to anywhere on the screen. Of course, these pages are also found in the actual book. So there you have your Torah blessings. I know it's hard to see on the screen, but the reason I provide a PDF is because we want you to be able to see in your hand what we're talking about. So we don't use the PDF directly for learning. We use the PDF as a way of pointing to things in the book because we can't physically be in the same room together. We're only online. So what else can we do with the WebEx? So I want to show you one more file that we can use here. Okay. Since we're talking about Torah blessings and things like that and Haftarah, so I'm opening up a chart for teaching the melody for the Haftarah. So again, when we look at this melody here we go. This is the first page of the chart for teaching the Haftarah. We can go through the color schemes. Mercha tipcha, mercha sof pasuk, and then you would sing it back. We also have the ability to sing together if the internet connection on my end and your end are both very, very strong, then we get a really, really good connection online. And again, flashcards, just in case. Here's an example of a flashcard for Haftarah trope and for Torah trope. So there's a mix of the online PDF and the flashcard. Now, you might ask, what do we do if we're not online together? What if you want to access these PDFs and we're not in the middle of a meeting? Well, I'm glad you asked that, because there is a way for us to keep track of each other and what we're doing. And I'll show you. It's called Shared Desktop. So now we're going to my desktop on my computer. And there you have it. Right over there, that's my screen. Now if I flip away from my screen for just a moment, we have here a sample folder of a Dropbox. This is a shared Dropbox folder that I have with all of my students. Each student gets their own Dropbox folder, and anytime we do a recording together, we record everything. We record the meetings, we record our melodies and our tunes, and as you see here, you have different recordings, closing Haftarah, Haftarah chapter 11, chapter 12, verses 1 to 6. We record everything together. And everything we record goes directly into either a Dropbox folder or a Google Drive folder, whichever is most convenient. This is for you. All the PDFs that we use in our meetings, here you have examples of PDFs right over here. These are all PDFs that we use in our meetings online for the WebEx conferencing. Google Drive is a big one that I like to use as well. So I'm just going to show you an example here of a Devar Torah graphic organizer. So this is something that I use often with many students who need to do some kind of writing assignment from their synagogue or from their rabbi, or if we're just studying Torah, studying Judaism together, this is a great way to share information. These charts are found at the back of every one of my Bar and Bat Mitzvah survival guides, every one of them. So you can fill it in as we go through, as we learn about the Torah portion or the Haftarah or the prophets. You can fill it in the book, but you can also complete it online. So let's say, for example, you're on this page here, and I'm asking you to find sections of Torah that stand out for me. So let's say you are curious about the end of chapter 1 of the story of Genesis, the book of Bereshit. So what does it say? In my own words. So you, the student, would write in your own words. It says that, pardon my typing, it says that people are in control of the world. And why does it stand out for you? Why does that seem significant to you? I've actually just taught this to a student recently who said, this isn't fair. Why should humans be allowed to do anything they want to the world? A very old question that many Jews have been asking, and many rabbis have asked many times over the centuries. So when you fill this in your Google Docs, it's the same Google Doc that I have access to. So even if we don't have a meeting, like here we are doing a WebEx meeting, even if we're not in the middle of a WebEx meeting, in between meetings, I can go to this anytime I want. I can access this, and what I'll do is I'll add in a comment. Great question. Check out the laws prohibiting cruelty to animals. And then I would upload a PDF with all the various laws and ideas connected to cruelty to animals. So that way, again, we go back and forth between the meeting and your Google Drive folder or your Dropbox folder, again, whichever is most convenient. And once I post this comment, it's there for you to see. You can come at any time in between our meetings and you can see my response to your questions. So we do a lot of back and forth online. It doesn't have to be just in this WebEx meeting. Something else that we often do is, because you can share desktops with me, we can go together to the Jewish Virtual Library, or anywhere else online for that matter. So here we go. This is a resource that I use quite a lot in my Bar Mitzvah survival guides. And within the Jewish Virtual Library, let's see if they have cruelty to animals. So even here, we can look up material about the kinds of things that you are commenting on in your parasha through the graphic organizer, in your Google Drive, or in your Dropbox folder. And we can view it all together in our WebEx meeting, and we can go through things together online. So as you see, face-to-face meetings are very important. They're a great way to study. But it isn't always necessary to be physically in the room together. There are ways to have meaningful studying and meaningful Jewish time without necessarily being physically present in the room together. So this is just a basic demonstration of what we can do with the WebEx video conference platform, and I hope you'll start to see why, of all the different conferencing platforms, this is the one that works very well and that I think works best with Adventure Judaism and with private tutoring. So there we are. Hope you enjoyed. And I look forward to seeing you online.